Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show where we sift through the noise, take a stack of sources, articles, and research, and distill them into those crucial nuggets of knowledge and insight you need to navigate our ever-changing world. Today, we're diving into an experience almost all of us have had: renting a car. You know the drill, the convenience, the promise of freedom on the open road, the excitement of a new destination. But then there's always that lingering thought, isn't there? That tiny flicker of anxiety as you do your quick walk around. Did I miss that microscopic paint chip? Will they accuse me of that tiny scratch that was definitely already there?
Oh, yeah. It's that subtle sense of unease, that feeling of having to become like a forensic investigator with your smartphone before you even turn the key in the ignition.
Exactly.
Well, get ready for that feeling to intensify, because something absolutely fundamental about this process is changing. It's driven by new technology, and as we'll unpack today, it's not always for the better, at least not yet.
Exactly. That subtle anxiety is about to get a technological upgrade. Our mission today is to pull back the curtain on this new era, taking a deep dive into Hertz's recent widespread deployment of AI-powered vehicle inspection scanners. We're going to dissect how this cutting-edge technology is fundamentally reshaping the rental car experience. We'll examine Hertz's loudly stated intentions, their push for transparency, precision, and speed. But more importantly, we're going to confront the very real, often frustrating, unintended consequences already surfacing for customers. And crucially, by the end of this deep dive, you'll walk away armed with concrete, actionable advice on how you can protect yourself in this rapidly evolving landscape.
Yeah, we've gathered some pretty compelling evidence looking at specific customer experiences that have already surfaced and, frankly, gone viral. We'll contrast these real-world outcomes with Hertz's, lofty stated goals, and we'll even delve into the inner workings of the AI itself to understand what it's truly capable of. This isn't just about a scuff on a bumper. This seemingly small shift in the rental car world is actually part of a much larger accelerating trend in automation, data collection, and, critically, consumer rights. It's a fascinating and at times a bit unsettling ride. So buckle up, because we're about to explore how algorithms are taking the wheel in ways you might not expect.
Okay, so we've set the scene with that pervasive rental car anxiety. Now, let's actually peel back the layers and understand what Hertz intended to achieve with this bold technological leap, starting with the very heart of this new system, the UVeye scanners. To kick us off, let's talk about these new scanners. Hertz, along with its affiliated brands, Dollar and Thrifty, are truly going all in on AI-powered vehicle inspection. This isn't some small pilot project tucked away in a quiet corner. These are sophisticated systems designed to automatically scan your rental car, both as it exits the lot for your pickup and just as critically as it returns. They're relentlessly searching for any trace of damage. And the very first location where this technology was implemented, acting as something of a canary in the coal mine, was none other than Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta.
Right. And what's truly fascinating here, and indeed a critical insight into Hertz's strategy, is their clear motivation. As they see it, this isn't just about cool tech. It's about solving two major headaches. First, they aim to radically improve their rental fleet maintenance. Imagine catching a tiny crack on the undercarriage or a nail embedded in a tire before it escalates into a larger, more expensive repair, or worse, a safety issue for the next renter. That makes sense. But perhaps even more significantly for us as consumers, they're trying to inject objective data into a damage reporting process that has historically been, an absolute mess, incredibly subjective, inconsistent, and often prone to disputes.
Oh, absolutely. Think about the old way. A human walking around with a clipboard and maybe a flashlight, often in a hurry. Maybe it's dark, maybe it's raining.
Exactly. Maybe they overlook a pre-existing ding, or conversely, they flag something that was already there. That process was just ripe for error, super inconsistent, and certainly time-consuming. These scanners, in theory, aim to eliminate that unreliable human element and bring in a consistent, data-driven approach, hoping to achieve, unparalleled precision.
And this isn't just any off-the-shelf AI system they picked up. Hertz has entered into a strategic partnership with UVeye, an Israeli company that specializes in these advanced AI vehicle inspection systems. What's particularly compelling about UVeye is their background. They emerged from the highly demanding world of X-defense technology, applying the kind of meticulous precision and image analysis techniques honed for national security to car inspections. It's quite a pivot.
It really is. And UVeye's capabilities, on paper anyway, are nothing short of impressive. They can precisely measure tire tread wear, giving Hertz real-time data on tire health. That's useful for maintenance. But even more critically, they provide a full, almost forensic 360-degree view of a car's entire physical integrity from its undercarriage, where hidden damage from potholes or speed bumps can lurk unseen.
Stuff you'd never spot yourself.
Right. To every panel of its body and even every square inch of its glass. It's a level of scrutiny that simply wasn't possible with human eyes alone, certainly not in a quick walk around.
Okay, so the tech sounds powerful.
Indeed. And UVeye isn't shy about the disruptive potential of their technology. They make a pretty bold claim. Their system increases damage detection accuracy by 5 times compared to human visual inspection.
5 times.
5 times. Think about that for a moment. 5 times more accurate. That's a significant leap in precision, theoretically. It's about consistently catching things that a human might genuinely miss, or perhaps simply not register as significant enough damage in a quick walkthrough. It shifts the paradigm from human interpretation to, well, algorithmic certainty.
5 times more accurate. Okay, that's a massive claim. But accurate at what, exactly? Is it catching tiny specks of dust? Is there a risk here that more accurate just means more likely to flag minute details that a human would simply wave off as normal wear and tear?
That's a very fair question.
And this isn't just a pilot program. It's a strategic overhaul. Hertz is committing serious resources with plans to implement 100 UVeye scanners at its approximately 1,600 United States airport locations by the end of 2025. That scale, that sheer widespread deployment really tells you they're serious about this, and it means this won't be an isolated incident you can easily avoid. If you're renting from any major airport in the U.S. in the near future, chances are very high you'll be encountering one of these systems. The clock is ticking on the old way of doing things, it seems.
Precisely. And Hertz's spokesperson has been quite articulate about their overarching corporate goal, their vision for this deployment. They've explicitly stated, and I'm quoting here, "The vast majority of rentals are incident-free. When damage does occur, our goal is to enhance the rental experience by bringing greater transparency, precision, and speed to the process." They champion the idea that these digital vehicle inspections deliver clear, incontrovertible, and detailed documentation far more quickly than any human could, leading to what they describe as a more technology-enabled resolution process. Sounds great on paper.
And theoretically on the surface, that sounds like a dream for renters, doesn't it? No more circling the car with your smartphone, feeling like a forensic detective, snapping 100 photos before you even drive off. The idea is that you could just depart the rental lot with an unprecedented sense of ease, confident that every tiny detail, every pre-existing blemish is meticulously captured by the AI. And then when you return the car, you simply drive through the scanner and walk away without a second thought, supposedly confident that you didn't add any patina to the car during your rental. It promises a truly seamless, stress-free experience. But is that transparency truly reciprocal, or is it more like a one-way mirror?
That's the critical question, isn't it? And it's where the comparison with other players in the market becomes incredibly illuminating. What's truly fascinating here, maybe the true aha moment, is how other companies are approaching this exact same technological integration. Sixt, another significant U.S. rental company, also utilizes AI scanning with their car gate system, but they have a crucial fundamental philosophical difference in their implementation. Sixt's system, while equally capable of flagging potential damage, requires human staff to review any AI flagged damage before you, the customer, are billed a single cent.
Oh, that's a big difference. Human review before billing.
Huge difference. To quote Sixt directly, "If new damage is detected, it is carefully reviewed by our trained staff to ensure fair and customer-focused outcomes. Only if the damage is clearly identified by a staff member as new can a damage claim be initiated by SIXT." Oh, this is the critical distinction. It's the difference between AI as a tool for efficiency and maybe a preliminary flag, and AI as the sole judge, jury, and executioner. That human override, that safety net, is the essential safeguard Hertz seems to have largely omitted from their initial rollout, and as we'll see, it makes all the difference in the customer experience.
And that difference between Sixt and Hertz is precisely where the rubber meets the road, right? Where the theoretical promise of AI for transparency, precision, and speed seems to be slamming into a concrete wall of customer frustration in practice. Because while the tech sounds futuristic, the real-world outcomes are, for many, a significant hiccup, leading to some pretty widespread customer outrage already. Let's bring this abstract technology down to a very real, very personal level. Let's talk about Patrick. His story isn't just an isolated incident. It's a highly detailed, deeply frustrating account of an AI-generated charge that encapsulates precisely what many customers are now experiencing. Patrick rented a Volkswagen from Hertz out of that very first location to implement these scanners, Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. He drove it for his trip, and upon return, the car had a relatively minor blemish. A 1-inch scuff on the driver's side rear wheel. Think of it as a small curb rash, something a human might easily overlook or just dismiss as normal wear and tear.
Pretty minor stuff, usually.
Right, but minutes after he put the vehicle through that new sophisticated scanner, an email landed in his inbox, a damage charge. The speed of that notification, almost instantaneous, was one of the first shockwaves.
And this wasn't just a small charge that Patrick could shrug off. The total bill for this single 1-inch scuff, which remember a human might simply ignore, amounted to a staggering $440.
Wow. $440 for a 1-inch scuff.
Yeah. And let's meticulously break that down because the individual components tell a story. There was $250 allocated for the repair itself, which, okay, on its own is maybe on the higher side for a minor wheel scuff, but plausible. But then came the added layers. $125 for something Hertz terms a processing fee, and an additional $65 for an administrative fee.
Processing and administrative fees, what are those even for?
Well, according to Hertz's own somewhat vague definitions, that processing fee covers the cost to detect and estimate the damage. So essentially, you're paying for the AI to find the damage on your dime.
You're paying them to find the damage they're charging you for.
Pretty much. And the administrative fee covers a portion of the costs Hertz incurs as a result of processing your claim, which means you're paying Hertz to process its own claim against you. It effectively adds insult to injury, layering charges for the very act of identifying and pursuing the damage the AI found.
Okay, that just feels wrong. Let's put those costs into a clearer perspective for you listening. A professional curb rash repair, that's when you scrape your wheel against a curb, typically costs anywhere from, say, $100 to maybe $250 per wheel, depending on where you are and how bad it is.
Right, that's the ballpark.
And a brand new original equipment manufacturer, OEM wheel, for a late model VW Jetta, which is what Patrick seemed to be driving, might itself be a little over $500. So for a minor 1-inch scuff, a $440 charge, including those processing and administrative fees that nearly double the repair cost, seems to be not just at the higher end, but potentially way out of proportion to typical repair costs. It certainly makes you wonder about the true justification for those hefty additional fees.
Absolutely. Are these fees truly cost recovery, or are they becoming a new profit center built around the sheer efficiency of this new AI system? That's the million-dollar question, or maybe the $190 question in this case.
Okay.
And this is where it really gets tricky for the customer. And this is where the discount trap reveals its kind of insidious nature. Patrick was immediately offered a discount if he paid quickly. He could shave $52 off the total if he paid within 2 days, or $32.50 off if he paid within a week. This creates an incredibly powerful psychological and financial incentive to just pay up and move on, right? Especially if you're rushing for a flight, busy with work, or just want to avoid a prolonged hassle.
It's basically pressure. Pay now, admit fault, save a few bucks.
Exactly. It's designed to make the path of least resistance the one where you just accept the charge. But Patrick's powerful response to the drive revealed a deeper principle at play. He emphatically stated that saving $30 to accept responsibility is not worth it. This highlights a common and, I think, admirable customer perspective. For many, it's not just about the money, it's about the fundamental fairness, the feeling of being unjustly charged, and the integrity of the process. He chose principle over a pretty paltry discount.
Good for him. But what makes this discount trap even more insidious, almost a guaranteed no-win scenario, is the customer service labyrinth you have to navigate if you do want to dispute a charge like he did. Patrick, like any reasonable person faced with a $440 bill for a minor scuff, wanted to speak to a human, to explain, to advocate for himself. But he quickly discovered that the Hertz website primarily connects you to live chat agents who, let's be honest, are often limited in their power to resolve complex disputes.
Yeah, they often work from scripts that can't make major decisions.
And the mobile apps. They only allow you to flag a claim for later review, essentially kicking the can down the road. Emailing support is an option, theoretically, but here's the kicker. Responses can take up to 10 days to appear in your inbox.
Okay, wait. 10 days for an email response.
10 days.
This raises an absolutely critical question about genuine human oversight in an AI-driven process, and it exposes a profound systemic disconnect. Think about it. That discount offer designed to pressure you into quick payment is only good for 7 days.
Right.
But an email response from Hertz, your only real avenue for a detailed dispute, can take up to 10 days.
So the math just doesn't work.
It doesn't. It creates an undeniable, almost Kafkaesque no-win scenario for customers who want to dispute charges. You're effectively forced into an impossible choice. Either pay a potentially unjust fee now for a slight discount, thereby admitting fault, or lose that discount entirely while waiting for a response that might not even come in time to save you money if it comes at all. The system seems designed to encourage immediate, unchallenged payment rather than fair, real-time resolution.
And Patrick's case, as frustrating as it is, isn't an isolated incident. We're seeing a clear, concerning pattern emerge. Another customer, a Reddit user going by Professor Pimpkane, shared a remarkably similar experience. They were automatically billed $195 for a ding at that very same Atlanta location, and after navigating the limited customer service options, they reported being told, in no uncertain terms, that Hertz stands by the AI.
Stands by the AI. Wow. That phrase is becoming a chilling refrain, isn't it? It reflects a broader pattern of customer frustration and a severely limited recourse for challenging these automated charges.
It really makes you wonder, how transparent is a system truly, when immediate charges are issued based on an algorithm, but real-time human dispute resolution is seemingly non-existent? It's a classic example of technology accelerating the problem, maybe making charge identification faster, but utterly failing to provide a corresponding acceleration in the solution or the path to justice for the consumer.
Yeah, it's efficiency for the corporation and a whole lot of friction for the customer.
So, with this landscape firmly in mind, the promise of AI meeting the reality of customer frustration, how do you, the savvy renter, navigate this brave new AI rental world? What concrete strategies can you employ to protect yourself from these digital pitfalls? The first and perhaps simplest step seems obvious. Just avoid AI scanner locations if at all possible.
Yes, that's the most straightforward advice, theoretically. If you can steer clear of locations that are known to use Hertz's AI scanners, you bypass the potential issues entirely. As of July 2025, the known locations where these UVeye scanners are operational include Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson, Charlotte Douglas, Houston George Bush Intercontinental, Newark Liberty, Phoenix Sky Harbor, and Tampa International.
Okay, that's a handful of major hubs already.
It is. And keep in mind, as we mentioned earlier, Hertz plans to roll out 100 UVeye scanners at its roughly 1,600 U.S. airport locations by the end of 2025. This list of operational airports is going to grow and grow rapidly, so what's true today might not be true next month.
But here's the significant challenge of confirmation, and this really speaks to a larger issue of transparency from Hertz, doesn't it? A reporter from The Drive actually attempted to call 5 of these supposedly scanner-equipped locations, trying to find out definitively if they indeed had the technology installed. What they found was pretty telling and deeply unhelpful for customers trying to be proactive. Most either didn't answer their phones at all, hung up immediately after picking up, or had full voicemail boxes.
So you can't even call ahead to check.
Apparently, not reliably. This isn't just an inconvenience, it means it's incredibly difficult, if not impossible, for you to verify scanner presence before you even book your rental. You're often flying blind until you arrive at the counter, or maybe even until you return the car.
Yeah, that's not ideal. So given that difficulty, our strong recommendation might have to be a bit more sweeping. Consider avoiding Hertz, Dollar and Thrifty at major airports altogether if there's any uncertainty about whether they're using these scanners. Instead, explicitly consider alternative rental agencies like Sixt, specifically because of their distinct and frankly more customer-friendly approach to AI-detected damage. As we discussed, Sixt's system has that crucial human review step before any charges are issued.
That human element again.
That human element. It's a significant difference that provides a vital layer of consumer protection and fairness. It's a company that seems to prioritize human oversight, even amidst technological advancement.
Okay, let's unpack this next absolutely vital strategy. Arm yourself with insurance and credit card coverage. Many people simply don't realize the substantial protection they might already have sitting in their wallet or tucked away in their existing policies. Rental car insurance, often a benefit offered by your personal auto policy or certain premium credit cards, can actually provide robust coverage for minor damages, like those dreaded curb scuffs, small dents, or even cracked glass.
Right. These incidents are typically treated as collisions with objects under standard policies, meaning you might be covered without needing to purchase that expensive additional insurance from the rental counter.
Which they always try to sell you pretty hard.
Oh, yeah. That's a crucial point that can save you hundreds, even thousands of dollars. But, and this is a significant but, it's absolutely vital to understand the fine print. For credit card coverage to kick in, for example, you almost always need to decline the rental company's often overpriced collision damage waiver, CDW, or loss damage waiver, LDW.
You have to say no to their insurance first.
Correct. You must also pay for the entire rental with the specific card offering the coverage and ensure you're renting an eligible vehicle. Things like vans, motorcycles, exotic cars, and antiques are frequently excluded. Furthermore, a critical detail often overlooked is that credit card rental insurance is almost universally secondary coverage.
Secondary, what does that mean exactly?
It means it only kicks in after your personal auto insurance policy has been applied and exhausted its limits. So you'd likely have to file a claim with your own insurance first, potentially pay your deductible, before the credit card coverage helps. It's not usually your primary line of defense unless you have no personal auto insurance.
Okay, that's a really important distinction. So the strong recommendation here is to be relentlessly proactive. Do not wait until you're staring at a $440 bill for a 1-inch scuff. Instead, make it a habit to check with your personal insurer or your credit card provider ahead of time, ideally weeks before your trip, to fully understand the specifics of your coverage, its limitations, any deductibles, and any required actions like declining the rental company's insurance. This simple upfront step can literally save you hundreds of dollars in unexpected charges and countless hours of frustration. Knowing your coverage isn't just smart, it's essential in this new AI-driven landscape.
Absolutely essential. And strategy number 3. Regardless of whether the specific location you're renting from uses these new AI scanners or not, you absolutely, unequivocally must document everything yourself. Take your own high-resolution photos, shoot detailed videos, maybe even walk around the car narrating what you see, and consider leveraging new apps designed for this very purpose.
Why is this more critical than ever, even if they don't have scanners?
Because Hertz has a documented history, even pre-AI, of charging customers for minor damage that a human inspector might easily overlook or dismiss as negligible wear and tear. With AI now in the mix at more locations, those small, previously ignored blemishes are far more likely to be flagged consistently as damage, triggering those hefty fees. Your own documentation becomes your unassailable proof, your counter-evidence.
Case in point, and this is a truly alarming anecdote reported by the New York Times. A renter was charged a significant $195 for a tiny, almost imperceptible dent that was flagged by the scanner. This was particularly frustrating for the customer because a Hertz employee had personally confirmed the car was damage-free when it was returned.
Wow. So the humans said okay, but the AI overruled them.
Exactly. Imagine that. A human gives you the all clear, but the AI overrides it, and you're still on the hook for nearly $200. That's precisely the kind of situation you want to be thoroughly prepared for with your own meticulous evidence. Dated photos, video, everything.
And to help with this, you can proactively leverage your own technology. There are innovative apps out there, like Proof, which are specifically designed to use machine learning to track subtle changes between before and after photographs of your rental vehicle. Proof, for instance, guides users to take a standardized set of 6 photographs around the car, then uses AI to analyze them for discrepancies. Now, while it's currently unclear if Hertz or any rental company will officially accept third-party documentation like this as definitive, irrefutable proof in a dispute.
Yeah, will they even look at it?
That's the question. But having your own time-stamped, potentially machine-analyzed evidence provides a powerful counter-narrative. It gives you a level of objective data that mirrors and ideally counters the very technology the rental company is using against you. It strengthens your position immeasurably if you find yourself in a dispute.
Makes sense. Fight tech with tech. Now, another thing you might think would provide a clear defense is understanding Hertz's published thresholds for damage. They actually go to the trouble of publishing example thresholds online for what they consider chargeable damage. These typically include things like dents over 1 inch in diameter or scratches and scuffs longer than 1 inch in wheels. You think, okay, if my scuff is less than an inch, I'm safe, right?
You would think so. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, it highlights a profound challenge in interpreting company policies and, consumer contracts. While those thresholds are indeed published, Hertz includes a critical, almost nullifying disclaimer right alongside them.
The fine print strikes again.
Always. It states, and I quote, "These thresholds are illustrative only and not intended to be all-inclusive of all damage for which you will be held responsible."
Illustrative only, so basically meaningless.
It feels like a significant loophole, a legal trapdoor. It means that while they give you examples, they retain the right to charge you for anything else they deem damage, regardless of size or whether it meets their own examples. And as we saw with Patrick, who was charged $440 for a 1-inch scuff on a wheel, right at that threshold, customers have been billed for damage that is at or even smaller than these listed example thresholds. So while it's good to know they exist, you absolutely cannot rely on them to protect you from an AI-generated charge. They are not a guarantee. They are merely suggestions, apparently.
Okay, that's disheartening. And finally, strategy number 5, which feels more like a grim but necessary reality check.
Yeah.
Prepare for extremely limited customer support if you do get flagged for damage. This is a recurring, exasperating theme in countless customer complaints we reviewed. If you find yourself in the crosshairs of an AI-generated damage claim, your dispute options are incredibly narrow and often frustratingly slow.
Yeah, what are the actual options again?
You'll likely be directed to a web portal for viewing the AI's photos, which might just be grainy images of the supposed damage. You might get access to a chatbot to vaguely flag issues, whatever that means. Or you're offered an email address with that promised 10-day response time.
And crucially, no phone number, no live agent.
Correct. Crucially, there's simply no live agent readily available for real-time resolution, no human being you can speak to immediately to plead your case, provide context, or get instant clarity.
Wow. So this profound lack of immediate human interaction means customers may feel immense pressure, almost a psychological chokehold, to just accept the charges, especially when facing those rapidly expiring discounts. Patrick's principled decision not to pay the $30 discounted bill, preferring instead to fight the charge on principle, really highlights the stark choice customers face. It's a choice between the convenience of making the problem disappear quickly, albeit maybe unjustly, and the principle of fighting for what's right, even if it means enduring a prolonged, frustrating, and often potentially futile battle against an automated, unyielding system.
The entire process seems designed to encourage quick payment rather than fair, human-mediated resolution. It feels very one-sided.
It certainly does.
So what does all of this mean? When we look at Hertz's current AI deployment, it's really hard not to consider their extensive and often troubled history, right? They've faced some pretty significant controversies in the past, and it certainly shapes public perception and the inherent trust, or maybe lack thereof, regarding their current technological endeavors. Is this just business as usual, but with fancier tech?
Indeed. And it's important context. This isn't an isolated incident in an otherwise pristine corporate record. Hertz has a pattern of consumer-unfriendly behavior that precedes this AI rollout by years. We've seen incidents that range from operational negligence, like leaving a rental desk completely unmanned for 6 hours, leaving customers stranded and furious.
I can only imagine.
To more egregious attempts to exploit customers, such as trying to charge one renter a baffling $10,000 despite having an unlimited mileage policy, or unbelievably attempting to charge a Tesla customer for gasoline.
Charging a Tesla for gas. Seriously.
Seriously. These aren't minor operational blips. They arguably reflect a persistent disconnect between the company and its customers' experiences.
And then there was the most severe, deeply disturbing past issue, wasn't there? Hertz settled for a staggering $168 million.
A huge sum.
After falsely accusing literally hundreds of its own customers of stealing its cars. This wasn't just a billing error. This led to innocent people being arrested, facing felony charges, and in some cases even spending time in jail.
That's not just bad customer service. It's a profound systemic breach of trust, an abuse of power, and a massive legal scandal that should rightly color how we view their new, supposedly unbiased AI systems.
Absolutely.
So when we see the deployment of this highly precise AI, the critical question naturally arises. Is this AI a genuine attempt at modernization and efficiency for the benefit of all parties involved? Or is it potentially another system, albeit technological and seemingly objective, that is prone to consumer-unfriendly outcomes, much like the human-driven issues we've seen in their past?
And it's important to remember Hertz's recent financial journey too, right? They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy back in 2020 amidst the pandemic.
A tough time for travel companies.
But, impressively, emerged just a year later after travel rebounded. They were able to offload over $5 billion in debt and immediately poured resources into modernizing their fleet and, crucially, investing heavily in new technology, including this AI. This context shows a company aggressively driven by efficiency, cost reduction, and financial recovery, which might perhaps inadvertently prioritize that automation and profit over nuanced customer interactions and genuine fairness.
That drive for efficiency is definitely a factor. And this also brings us to the broader, far-reaching implications of AI in service industries, extending far beyond just rental cars. The UVeye technology, the very system Hertz is now wielding, isn't some niche product they developed. It's already incredibly well established in other automotive sectors. They have a formidable client roster that includes industry giants like General Motors, Hyundai, Amazon, presumably for their delivery fleets, and CarMax.
So it's already everywhere, basically.
Pretty much. Their sophisticated inspection systems are actively in use at hundreds of dealerships, massive fleet management locations, and high-volume vehicle auctions worldwide. And perhaps most tellingly, UVeye is reportedly already in talks with additional rental agencies, strongly suggesting that Hertz's move is just the tip of the iceberg. Broader adoption of these AI inspection systems is not just likely, but probably imminent across the entire rental industry.
Great, so we can expect more of this.
It seems likely. And this trend, this pervasive integration of AI, extends far beyond just car rentals and the automotive sector. As AI-powered systems become increasingly ubiquitous and embedded in nearly every facet of our everyday transactions, whether it's checking out at a grocery store with automated scanning, resolving a customer service issue via chatbot, submitting a warranty claim online, or even getting assessed for loan applications.
Things that used to involve humans.
Exactly. New and complex challenges will inevitably arise. We'll have to grapple with critical questions regarding genuine transparency, equitable dispute resolution, and, crucially, continued access to human support when algorithms make decisions that impact our wallets and our lives. The power dynamic is clearly shifting.
And this really brings us to a core tension, doesn't it? A fundamental philosophical challenge for our society. The delicate balance between corporate efficiency and aggressive cost reduction versus fundamental customer fairness and equitable treatment. Hertz proudly states that over 97% of vehicles scanned show no billable damage. That sounds incredibly positive on the surface, doesn't it? It implies the system works perfectly for the vast majority.
It does sound good in isolation.
But if that's truly the case, how do the disproportionately high processing and administrative fees for the remaining 3%, those few customers who are flagged, affect the overall perception of fairness? Especially when these customers seem to be charged excessively for minor issues and then face a literal brick wall trying to dispute those charges. This isn't just about a one-inch scuff on a wheel. It's about the accelerating shift in power dynamics between consumers and increasingly automated, opaque corporate systems. It asks us to consider, is efficiency at all costs truly progress?
A very important question.
So to recap our deep dive today, we've thoroughly explored the core tension emerging at the forefront of the rental car industry. The seemingly brilliant promise of AI for unparalleled efficiency and transparent vehicle inspections pitted sharply against the current, often frustrating reality of customer outrage, opaque fees, and severely limited recourse when disputes arise.
Yeah, we've meticulously examined Hertz's grand vision of speed and precision, then contrasted it sharply with real-world customer experiences like Patrick's, where a minor, almost imperceptible scuff snowballed into a significant financial charge. And that charge was compounded by a customer service system that essentially traps you between a short-lived discount and a frustratingly slow-to-respond, often unhelpful email process.
More importantly, hopefully, we've armed you with practical, actionable strategies. We've discussed how to identify and potentially avoid these AI-equipped locations, the vital, often overlooked role of your personal insurance and existing credit card coverage.
Definitely check that coverage.
The absolute, non-negotiable necessity of meticulously documenting everything yourself with photos, or even leveraging innovative apps like Proofs. And finally, a realistic understanding of Hertz's thresholds, or rather their lack of a true threshold, and the stark reality of their limited customer support.
And we've deliberately placed all of this within the much larger critical context of Hertz's historical controversies, which inevitably color public trust, and the accelerating pervasive integration of AI into various service industries beyond just car rentals. This isn't just about your next rental car experience. It's a crucial bellwether for how technology will mediate more and more of our daily transactions, fundamentally reshaping our interactions with companies.
So as AI continues to integrate deeper and deeper into our daily lives, transforming everything from how we rent cars to how we interact with customer service and beyond, what kind of future do you want to see? How can we, as discerning consumers, ensure that these technological advancements truly serve to enhance the consumer experience, rather than simply becoming tools for corporate efficiency and profit at our expense? What stands out to you as the single most important takeaway from this deep dive for your next rental experience, or indeed for any service where an algorithm might now be making the final call?